part 2 of week 2. It's taken me a little bit of time to get to it because we've done lots, but also got to do the normal things, the washing, the ironing, running around, getting the groceries, etc. And by the end of the day, well, sometimes I just think, oh, I might do it tomorrow. And you know what I think about tomorrow. Get rid of that finger. Tomorrow never comes. So it's today. Yes, well, today I'm going to hopefully complete, now I will, because if you're watching this now, I have completed the part 2 of the film of our few days away. We left here, we left home and visited Harlingen and stayed there the night. A cousin of mine, Johan, lives there, and one of his neighbours has a B&B. And we didn't really specifically make it a family visit, but he was there and we got to see him anyway. And we enjoyed a few sights and sounds and experiences that we wouldn't have had otherwise. There was a special events thing on that night, just pure coincidence. Found out that Johan's daughter has a Greek restaurant where we ate, so that was lovely too. And the next morning, after a leisurely, well looked after breakfast from our B&B hostess, we left and drove to Leeuwarden. Leeuwarden is the capital of Friesland, the province, northern province, and it is this year the European cultural capital. It's also my father's birthplace. It's also the place that I spent a lot of my youth years, my first job there, etc. And it is a special place in my heart. My brother, the younger brother, lives there, Lex. We called in to see him for a short while. Visited my 90-year-old uncle, who was widowed last September, and made a memorable trip down my memory lane. And while we were in Leeuwarden, I had requested through various channels whether or not it was possible for my grandson and I, obviously my husband, he was there too, whether we could climb the Bonifacius Tower, the church tower. My dad did, just after the war, help remove the barbed wire and everything that the Germans had put around it, because the tower is really high, and the view right through to the coast on clear days, etc., was the reason why the Germans protected it, for their own safety and not the safety for our country. So my grandson and my husband and I had the privilege of going all the way up in the tower, and we had a lovely view over the city. At the end of the day, we made our way to Belt-Schutsloot, a camping ground in a beautiful area in the middle of the Netherlands in a nature reserve, where we'd hired a log cabin for a couple of nights. And that was the start of the rest of the weekend. The very warmest of temperatures, no, they weren't. It was quite chilly, in fact. It was coat weather. Bit chilly, but the evenings weren't too bad. It wasn't wet, but the wind was quite cold. We had a leisurely breakfast Saturday morning, and then we made our way to Giethoorn. Giethoorn is also known as the Venice of the Netherlands. Quite pretty, very touristy, and it's just somewhere that you've got to go. In fact, there are so many places that are lovely to visit that even for me, I think the smaller, more natural, old-style Netherlands is fun to go and see, but also gives you the impression of what the country was like, and also about the smallness of the spaces and the many things that were, the activities that took place in small places. Because a small farm with a few cows, but lots of small farms with a few cows, instead of one huge farm with a whole lot of cows. That sort of thing. Everything small scale, but lots of it. And that was good. So we went to Giethoorn. We had a lovely lunch there as well. And just had a browse around. We went for a drive in the countryside, etc. We had planned it slightly differently, but things are as they are, flexible as they are, and we had a lovely time. We had dinner in a restaurant one that we visit maybe twice a year while we're there. And because we just love Belt-Schutsloot, if you could say it, you're pretty clever. We like staying there. Friends of ours regularly have a caravan there for a few months at a time. So we like to visit and just do the rounds. And those 4 days away were absolutely lovely. We saw lots of the countryside. Not just I as a driver, and not just Len, my husband, sitting next to me, but Max. He saw lots. The impressions, I don't know what it does with him and how he digests all that. All I know is that there were lots of positive noises coming from the back seat. A bit of quiet time as well. I'm sure he was tired too. A lot of impressions, you know, when you're travelling. There's a lot that goes on in your head that you think about and process and wonder. And so, yeah, the poor guy. He kind of got a bit overkill in information, I'm sure, but it was fun. We stopped off at a small hotel which has lots of childhood memories for my husband, where he used to go and visit with his mum and dad and grandparents, etc. In that little area. It's really tiny, a little dot on the landscape. But we stopped there and had a snack before we went home, which was really good. And when we arrived home the next day, the weather started to perk up, and we've gone from wearing very warm clothes to finally back into my summer wardrobe. But still sort of spring and a cardi every now and then, but at least the temperatures have improved lots. Okay, so that's about it for now. You're up to date. I'll include the photos now, and I really, really hope you enjoy travelling along with us as we show my grandson a part of his heritage. Thank you for watching. Like the video. If you want to see more, just keep in touch. Sign up. That's good. And I hope to keep everything up to date. Bye for now. And no, I won't put off till tomorrow. I'll be busy today. Bye.